From the banks of the Hocking inside Ohio softball field, this is MAC Softball on Ohio Bobcat TV. Today, a matchup of the two teams with the most wins in the Mid-American Conference. Not technically the top. Western Michigan has that via win percentage, but the 7-2 in conference Ohio Bobcats take on 6-2 in conference Ball State Cardinals. Alongside Chloe Workman, I'm Carl Blaylock, and tell you what, I'm surprised Jim Cantori isn't here with us. It's windy, and it's going to be a factor this entire day. The wind, I mean, it's, I think, sustained about 20 miles an hour, gusting up to 55. It's been, I mean, the flag's been shaking. I mean, it is down the left field line. It is windy. It's going to be a factor. I do not envy anybody on a pop-up fly today.
Yeah, me neither, Carl. I mean, we were sitting here talking about that. If you're playing out there in right field and there's a ball coming, you might as well take a couple steps back because it is going to go far. And a couple of minutes ago, the sun was out, but the clouds have kind of taken an overhead, and now the temperature, it feels like it just dropped about 10 degrees. So, no, you're right. I am not envious of anybody out there playing with a fly ball.
Here's as Ball State will start. Being the road team, Haley Wynn will come up to bat. She's the leadoff of Maya Daniel, and Michaela Timmons as well due up for the Cardinals. Wynn second in the MAC in batting average, third in slugging percentage, first in on-base percentage, second in runs and hits, and fourth in walks. And I mean, Ball State has one of the best. They have one of the best offenses. These are two of the best offenses in the MAC. Ball State second in a ton of categories, and Ohio third. So, especially with the wind, this could be a very high-scoring game. Skip Miller on the mound for the Bobcats.
You're right about that, Carl. It'll be interesting to see how Wynn can start things off. She's been pretty successful so far this year, like you mentioned, with that high batting average. Been a great leadoff here for the Cardinals.
Miller so far this year has been the best, arguably the best pitcher for the Bobcats. An ERA of 3.08. Ball one there as there's the second pitch. That one will hit the plate. 1-1 the count. One thing that this Cardinals team does really well is take walks. They're first in the MAC in how many walks they've taken, with 105 walks on the season. Wynn herself has 16 of them. That one just on the outside, 2-1 the count.
Yeah, that just comes down to that discipline at the plate that Ball State seems to have. And I think whenever you go in, just like Wynn right here, racking up those pitches already early in the count, she's seen 3 already. That's exactly what it takes to kind of draw those walks and kind of get your pitcher a little off focus right there, like we saw with that pitch.
It was a little bit high there, 3-1 the count now, and that might be a little bit of the wind as well. I mean, it's going to be tough to locate some of these pitches when you've got 50-mile-an-hour winds coming right across the field. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Cast on the outside, it'll be a walk for Wynn. Her 17th of the season. And it'll bring up Amaya Daniel. She's also a very good hitter. 4th in the MAC in batting average, 5th in on-base percentage, 3rd in hits. She'll step up here, right-hander. Batting .428 entering this.
Miller needs to kind of find her footing out there on the mound. Getting a leadoff walk, that is not what you want to do if you're a pitcher. And she was able to pick up the strike right there, but we're going to see if she can kind of get herself in a little groove right here.
Skip Miller's on the mound for the Bobcats. Let's go around the diamond a little bit. Emma Hoffner is behind the dish. She'll call in a sign. And here's the pitch. Lifted short, and it's going to be caught by Sydney Grind at shortstop. Little line out 6 to the shortstop. And there's one out for Michaela Timmons.
That one, I think it looked like it could have had maybe a little bit more juice under it, but I think she just got right under that ball. And I think also the wind might have pushed it in a little bit. When it came off that bat, it really looked like it was going to fly, but just lost that momentum.
First pitch, just a little bit low, ball 1. 1-0 the count. On Timmons, the redshirt sophomore from Florida. Once again, I mean, this top of the lineup for Ball State is really, really good. Timmons, 5th in the MAC in slugging percentage, 2nd in RBI, 6th in home runs. She's had 4 of them in the last week as well. She's going to bunt here as that one's bunted back into the screen. 1-1 the count now. Looking at the Bobcat defense, Alexis Daw is back. Missed the last few games. She's at first base. Tori O'Brien at second. Shelby Wessler at third. Sydney Grine at shortstop as she made that last play. Belle Hummel in left. Yaz Logan in center. And CJ Cadell in right. There's a strike. 1-2 the count on Timmons.
Beautiful pitch right there from Miller. After seeing her kind of show bunt right there, I don't know if they were quite expecting that one, but I think it might have kind of messed with her mentality here. See how Miller is able to respond.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Try to get a strike and throw him out, double play. And the ball's going to go out into center field. So a strikeout swinging for Timmons, and Wynn gets a stolen base.
That was a good attempt right there behind the plate from Emma Hoffner, but I think shortstop was just a little bit late. But like we mentioned, Haley Wynn is one of the speediest people here in the MAC, and stolen bases seems to be kind of her forte, I guess you could say.
Ball State, in general, they're 3rd in the league in stolen bases. That one's on the inside. Wynn's going to try again down to 3rd, and she gets there. So there's 2 stolen bases right there for Haley Wynn. Now a runner on 3rd with 2 outs for Samantha Jo Mata. Already ahead in the count, 1-0. Mata coming in, batting 186, but over the last week, she's going to square around a bunt here. Here's the pitch. It's lifted and foul. The wind really helped that one go foul, but for Mata in the last week, 2 conference series. It's obviously the midweek conference series. Ball State playing against Central Michigan and Northern Illinois. In those games over this last week, Mata's 5 for 15 with a home run, 4 RBIs, and she scored 4 runs. Looking for a 5th RBI here. That pitch is going to be high, 2-1 to count on Mata.
That one got away from Miller a little bit right there, but Hoffner able to pop up out of there quickly and keep that one from getting behind her. If that ball would have got behind her, without a doubt, Haley Wynn would have found the plate and scored early, big in this game. Mata
squares again. Now steps back and swing and a miss. 2-2 the count.
After that first pitch being a walk for Miller, she's really kind of honed in right here. And a lot of strikes, a lot of swings and misses here early for the Cardinals.
Even with 2 strikes, Mata still squares. She'll pull back and see a ball. So the count runs full with 2 outs here in the top of the first.
Mata, the transfer from Alabama State.
She'll lift it out to Tori O'Brien, able to get under it and end the inning. Ball State with a leadoff walk, but can't do anything with it. We head to the bottom of the first here on Bobcat TV. Ball State now ready to take the field, as on the mound for them is one of the better pitchers in the MAC in Angelina Rousseau.
You're right about being one of the better pitchers there, Carl. Rousseau has had a pretty successful season so far. Her ERA is just 2.93, and that's even lower than Skip Miller. She's had 4 appearances in the last week, and she's 3-0 on all of them, pitching about 23 innings with 20 strikeouts and only 8 walks. So she is, by definition, just one of those pitchers that are scary almost. You don't want to face.
Belle Hummel will step in, and I think the most interesting thing on Rousseau is that she's had more strikeouts in the last week than she's given up hits. 20 strikeouts, 14 hits. Bobcats will try to get a hit here as Belle Hummel will look at a strike.
You can just see the sheer movement on that drop ball she threw right there.
Hummel, Logan, and Paoli due up to start for the Bobcats. Infield in here. Swing and a miss by Hummel. 0-2 the count. See if the infield kind of backs up a little bit. No, they'll stay all 4 infielders inside the bases, as they're expecting some sort of slap hit here from Hummel.
Hummel trying to slap. This is a bit interesting defense they're choosing right here.
That outside.
If she just gets a hold of one and hits it hard with the infield playing this close, that's got to be almost a little scary depending on what Hummel can do with her bat.
Here's the 1-2 count. Outside. Count runs even at 2-2.
Beautiful discipline right there from Hummel. You know, going up, getting 2 strikes on you real quick, it's always hard on the mindset. So her laying off of those last 2. Beautiful discipline.
Here's the pitch. That's going to be right back to the pitcher, over to first. And it'll be a ground for Hummel. That's a first out. Ball State records. Now it'll be Yaz Logan coming up to the bat. Logan on the season batting .325.
A lot of these Bobcats players have really good batting average, and Logan is one of them. I mean, she is 5th on the lineup in batting average, but still being able to bat .325 is just spectacular. That just goes to show how talented both of these teams are.
That pitch will be a little bit outside. One thing that Logan's really good at is taking walks. Leads the Bobcats with 19 walks taken this year. Very patient at the plate, and that's something that for Ball State, if there's one knock on them, they walk a lot. They have a lot of walks on their pitching status. That's going to be right back up the middle. Rousseau over to Mata at first, and it's another ground out, 1-3.
Rousseau's out there not even letting anybody else have to do any of the work. She's just going to take it all herself, it seems, so far. But we'll see what happens right here with Analia Paoli up to bat.
Paoli batting at a very, very cool .365.
Analia is one of the big hitters for the Bobcats with 5 home runs on the season.
That one just a tiny bit high. 1-0 the count.
A little bit of a gutsy pitch right there from Rousseau, opening things up with an off speed.
We'll see what Rousseau follows that up with on the 1-0 pitch.
Another off speed.
That one finds the zone though. The count goes to 1-1.
See if she throws yet another slow one here, or if she brings it back up to speed.
Here's the pitch. There's a strike. That one was on speed there, and I think it's really Paoli's kind of a little bit with all the different speeds at the moment. I mean, there's a few interesting places. I mean, that first one looked like a pretty hittable ball, but I don't think Paoli was expecting something as off speed as that. It's kind of put her on the back foot this entire at bat. That one's going to be just a little bit outside to get past the catcher.
Well, I also think that was a bit of Russo's plan. I mean, if you get a batter like Paoli, who is typically, you know, cranking home runs and triples, you kind of want to get them off on a bad foot. But the best thing that Paoli can do in a situation like that where she throws back-to-back off speed is just fend them off. You may not get what you want, but the best thing to do is just foul it off until you do get that pitch that you want.
Already got the count even at 2-2, does Paoli. Junior from Point Marion, Pennsylvania. Here's the pitch. Another off speed, a great job by Paoli. You can see her there. She was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm not going to swing at this, and then she realized it was going to be in the zone and off speed. She had enough time to really kind of quicken her swing.
I mean, and you could just see that ball kind of almost zigzagging in the air. That looked almost like a knuckle changeup, maybe.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. One fouled off. We'll do it again at 2-2.
Like I said, Paoli is a smart batter, and she's going to sit here and she's going to fight it off until she can get that pitch that she wants.
You know, we've talked about the effects of the wind on, you know, obviously the fielders and a little bit of the pitchers. I wonder what it does for the batters, because that ball's kind of moving all the way to the plate. That one did right there. A little bit of spin on it too, but that thing just curved a little bit unnaturally trying to get over the plate, and Paoli able to foul it off again.
That one looked like it might have been another off speed right there. Just the sheer talent to be able to throw, you know, a fastball to a changeup just back to back over and over. You don't see that a lot in pitchers, so it's truly talented to see.
That one right back to Rousseau. And 3 G1 threes. All ground out to pitchers for the Bobcats in the bottom of the first. We head to the second here on Bobcat TV. Jasmine Armendariz to start off the inning for Ball State. Scoreless after one inning here in a windy Athens, Ohio. And for Armendariz, she's had sneaky power a little bit. 27 hits on the year. A third of those have been doubles. 9 doubles. She'll step in here against Skip Miller.
You're right about that sneaky power, because, I mean, looking at her, she's not a very big girl, and typically you see a girl with kind of her build, they're usually more of the slappers.
That one right to Miller. Miller able to stab it with her glove, throw it over to Dawes in time, ground out 1-3. And,
yet another 1-3. 4th one in a row.
Now to be Caitlin Matthews coming up, another above 400 hitter for this Cardinal team, batting .433. She's on a 7-game hitting streak at the moment. Last week, batting 7 for 19, 4 runs scored, 3 RBIs, and even had a home run. She'll stand in here, the left-hander, and She'll see a strike right down the middle on the first pitch. One out.
Slowly getting colder here in Athens.
It's definitely, I mean, the wind's really playing a factor. There's a bunt. O'Brien unable to get over to first in time to cover. That was a really good bunt hit there by Matthews, and it'll be the first hit of the game for either side. And it'll bring up McKenna Mulholland.
That was a sneaky bunt right there. I don't think anybody saw that one coming, but that was great by Sydney Wessler. She picked that one up quickly, but unfortunately it just had the defense off guard and they weren't able to shift over to first in time.
Well, Holland kind of broke out of a slump the last time she played, as she'll send that one foul down the left field line. It was 3-17 in the last two series, the Central Michigan and NIU series, but on the 29th of March, her last game that she played, she hit 2 for 3, 3 RBIs, a double, and a home run. So I mean, that's something to where it can kind of get you out of those slumps.
Exactly. Sometimes that's all you need is just one good game, even one good at bat, to really just make you snap out of it and get back to your old self again.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Strike, just catching half at ease. Count will go 0-2 for Miller.
That pitch looked a little bit low, but still a strike.
Here's the pitch. That one foul, backing out of play. We'll do it again at 0-2.
Whenever you get in a situation like this, you got 2 strikes on you, that strike zone kind of gets a little bit bigger for you. So we might see Mulholland kind of swinging at pitches she typically doesn't want to swing at. But at this point, you got to do absolutely anything you can to protect that plate.
Cardinals second baseman waits for the pitch, and she'll send it over to Grind. Grind bounces off of Grind, unable to field it correctly, and that'll be a bit of a ride. I think that's going to be an error, but we'll wait for confirmation on that. But either way, runner on, 2 runners on back-to-back here for the they're going to give that a hit. They're going to give that a hit as it's a hard hit ball, so give it.
It was a very, very hard hit ball, but I don't know. Ohio has kind of struggled with their errors so far.
They're last
this
in
season.
the league in fielding percentage as Hannah Newman takes a strike run at the knees.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not really something you want to be last in the league in. Even just 1 or 2 errors a game can make or break, and although that one wasn't considered an error, it might play into the mindset.
That one's just a bunt, able to get the out at first, but both runners advance. So with 2 outs, there's runners on first and second after the sacrifice.
Ball State is down now to the bottom of their lineup. The chance to score right here early in the second.
And coming up to bat, she'll see a strike.
Having a lefty down at the bottom of the lineup can make things good. All she has to do is get in front of that ball and send it out there towards the right-hand side of the field, and you should see 1 or 2 scores right here if she can get hold of it.
There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes 0-2. I think most interesting is the alignment of the outfield, as the outfielders shading her to left field. There's a big gap down the right field line.
Maybe she has a history of pulling opposite field.
Perhaps. Infield in. 0-2 count here. High. And so the count goes to 1-2. Here's the pitch. Just a little bit outside. It'll be 2-2.
Skip Miller going to have to try to work herself out of this jam she kind of has found herself in right here. Ball State doing a great job so far getting base runners.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Slapped. Grind able to grab it. Over to first to Daw. In time. And Miller will get out of the inning. 2 runners left in scoring position for the Cardinals. We head to the bottom of the second here on Bobcat TV. Bottom of the second here at Ohio softball field. Scoreless between Ball State and Ohio. 2 of the top teams in the MAC, and one of the top hitters in the MAC in Alexis Daw up to bat now. Daw batting .370. Missed the last few games. Nice to see her back in the lineup for the Bobcats. She'll stand in to face Rousseau here.
Yeah, very nice to see her back. Really nice to see how she kind of bounces back after taking a little bit of a break, especially at the plate, with her being one of the most dominant batters for Ohio.
First pitch inside, a ball, 1-0 the count.
Although she missed the last couple games, she technically leads Ohio in batting average at .370.
Here's the pitch. That's inside again. 2-0 the count. And I'm not sure if it's the wind still coming across the easily blowing towards the right field line by the batter's box. I don't know if it's the wind or if Rousseau's trying to pitch Dahl really on the inside there. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one's right down the middle of the strike.
A nice little off speed right there to Dahl. Although she does have the highest batting average, she's not typically the player that's going to hit a bunch of home runs. I mean, she just does exactly what she needs to do. She gets a lot of singles. And sometimes that's really all you need to score runs, especially in a situation like this where neither team has really struck yet.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one's through past the third baseman. Dahl able to get on base with a single.
The first runner on for Ohio. Right there between that 5-6 hole.
Well, it was close to try to make a play for it, but you know, it's one of those hot shots, one that grounded. So first hit as Emma Hoffner will come up to bat. A right-hander batting .346. Third in batting average on this Bobcat team. As here's the pitch. Ball outside. 1-0 count.
Emma Hoffner seems to like to hit a lot of doubles. I mean, she's had 28 hits so far in the season, 4 of those being doubles. But like I just mentioned, right now, really all this team needs is just put a handful of hits together. With Dahl being the first one to get on base for the Bobcats, they need to start to rally, get something going here.
And Hoffner's gotten ahead in the count, 2-0 against Rousseau. Here's the 2-0 pitch. low, and 3-0 now the count.
Like you mentioned, Rousseau does seem to have a lot of walks compared to her ERA.
40
the amount
walks.
of strikes she gets.
40 walks on the season. Still has 48 strikeouts, but it's one fault with this Ball State team is, ooh, that just catches the top of the strike zone. It'll be a 3-1 count.
Hoffner did not look like she wanted that one to be a strike. She looked like she was already ready to jog down to first base.
Here's a 3-1 pitch.
And that one low.
First walk of the day for Rousseau. Runners on first and second, no outs for Sydney Grine. Grine on the season.
She's 317.
Has 8 RBIs on the year. Trying to get another one here.
She's only started 14 games for the Bobcats, so like you mentioned, she's one of those kind of more sneaky players, sneaky batters.
That one's low. A lot of balls thrown by Rousseau this inning. 5 out of the last 6 pitches for sure, and she's got to get that settled back down in. Here's the pitch. That one through the hole. It's going to be a close play. The stop sign thrown. So a single for Grine, and the bases are loaded with no outs for the Bobcats as Shelby Wessler will come up to bat.
And it's a good thing for Alexis Dahl that Coach Hall over there gave her that stop sign, because Caitlin Matthews out there in left field threw an absolute dime to the catcher right on a rope.
There'll be a little bit of a meeting at the mound with no outs. Definitely not the jam that Cardinals are in at this moment. As coming up to the bat is Wessler. Wessler batting .260 on the season. 16 RBIs though. She's got some power, 5 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs.
The last game for Wessler against Akron, she had 3 hits, one of those being a double.
First pitch going to be a strike as Rousseau seems to settle down a little bit. Infield very in. The middle infielders are in fact about 3 or 4 steps in the baseline. Not protecting the middle of the field though. They're all going for the bunt.
They're anticipating exactly that. Get that play at home.
Ooh. Ball out into left field. 1 run will score. So the sacrifice for Wessler, that probably will be, we'll see exactly what that officially is. Dawes thrown out at home, but Hoffner scores.
That's exactly what they were trying to push right there. They wanted to get that play at home, and they would have had the double had that ball just not bounced off of the glove over there at first base. But for Ohio, I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to capitalize on those errors. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the game, and that is an error for Ball State, and one that's crucial right here, especially this early in the game.
Let's see who the error was credited. I believe it probably on the throw, but we'll get confirmation of that here in a second. But definitely a good break for the Bobcats, and now CeCe Kydell will come up. Sophomore from Hilliard, Ohio, with runners on the corners.
A good break indeed. They got runners on the corners now. See if they try to pull any interesting plays here. So it looks like they still got their second baseman pulled up. Scratch that. They backed her up right there. Anticipating maybe a steal right here from Wessler?
Perhaps. Runners on the corners. 1 out. Rousseau will deliver. Strike just catching the outside part of the plate. The error was on the error is going to go on Amata at first base. So Samantha Jo Amata picks up the error. It's a Ball State team that they don't have that many, normally don't have that many fielding errors, as we'll get back to that point. Mata gets it over to first. Good base running, though, by Grind to be able to come home, kind of watch. All right, where's the play? Where's the play going? Stood it halfway, nothing going at third, ran home on it. It's a sacrifice on a fielder's choice, and that's going to be an RBI for Cadell.
Yeah, I mean, although that was kind of a soft hit for her, it got its job done. And now Ohio is building themselves kind of a soft little lead here. 2 runs already.
And up the bat, Tori O'Brien. O'Brien up to 340 on her batting average. Shields way down a little bunt, and that was almost a beautiful bunt. Almost sat there about like 5 feet outside of the right-handed batter's box on the slap. Ends up going foul. Do it again. 0-1 now.
Just had a little bit of that spin on it. Spun it outside. O'Brien hitting 340 on the season.
Here's the pitch. The outside, 1-1 to count.
That one just a little bit low on outside. O'Brien just a really good slapper right here, and a great way for Ohio to get back to the top of their lineup.
Here's the pitch. Just a little bit low, 2-1 to count.
But you know, when talking to Coach Hall earlier this week, she mentioned that they don't just rely on their first 4 batters, they often rely on their last 4. She said in the games that they win, it's everybody that's hitting, not just one group. Everybody has to hit. And I think we're seeing that, especially with that.
It's through for O'Brien. It's going to be, she's going to try for 2, and she gets it. On a ball that barely got out of the infield. Wessler over to third, but wow, heads up play by O'Brien.
That 5-6 hole right now has just been kind of burning Ball State up. 3 of Ohio's hits have went right there between that third baseman and the shortstop, but we're back to the top of the lineup, and we see Ball State playing in once again. I'm not sure if that's the correct choice, seeing how it's just these little kind of infield hits almost that's burning them up.
And up and in to Bell Hummel. Want to know the count. Wind definitely still a factor, as that one's going to be low, 2-0.
Hummel earlier was a part of the 3 that kind of ground out to the pitcher at the beginning of the game for the Bobcats.
She's the 7th Bobcat to come up to bat this inning. She's ahead on the count, 2-0 to Rousseau. Time.
It looked like Rousseau was the one that called that time, or was it the umpire?
I think it might have been the umpire. My umpire might have gotten some dust in his eyes. I mean, it's pretty easy to have that happen with the wind the way it is today. Ready? There's just catch him right the outside. 2-1 to count.
Beautiful pitch delivery right there from Rousseau.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2 the count now. Good job by Rousseau to kind of put her head down a little bit. She's gotten right back to where she wants to be. Finding that groove again and trying to get out of the inning with only the 2 runs.
That was a good swing right there by Hummel. It looks like she might have been over top of it. Maybe that ball dropped out a bit on the tail end of it.
The 2-2 pitch. Outside, 3-2. The count runs full as the wind once again picks up.
Seems it's always really windy right there whenever Rousseau's out to pitch.
Here's the full count pitch to Hummel. Fouled off into the Bobcat dugout.
That was a hard hit ball right into all of their faces. Seems like no one's got hurt.
I think they're kind of chirping at Bell. Hey, don't do that. We're friends, folks. But back to the focus for the full count. Hummel trying to get it back into play. And she will, right in between that hole again. 1 run scores. As Wessler in to score, O'Brien over to third. Runners on the corners. Once again, it's through the hole between shortstop and third base.
Bobcats have just been pounding it. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose, if they're placing the balls there, but like I said earlier, they don't need to be having these hard hits. It's just these little kind of loopers over here that's really just pushing them ahead.
I mean, that's the farthest they've hit a ball. I mean, the farthest they've hit a ball has just been over there. I mean, there hasn't been any pop-ups. It's all been on the ground, and it's all been in that area over there.
And we talked before the game about how the pop-ups was really going to have a factor.
We'll get a stolen base there as Logan had the strike, but able to move up his Hummel, so now 2 RBI opportunities for Logan.
Another timeout here for Ball State. I think Russo is struggling to maybe see the pitch called, or
possibly the wind really gusting now in the last minute or two. I don't think it's dipped below 30 miles an hour. As that one, it's past the second baseman. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. Logan with 2 RBIs.
Beautifully placed hit right there for Yaz Logan. And Ohio is just having themselves a 2-out rally here. Tacking on 5 runs here in the second inning.
And now it's Paoli up to bat. As Ball State just looking themselves to get out of this inning. It's the 9th Bobcat up to bat.
They've almost batted all the way around the order. The Alexis Dahl on deck. She's the one who started it all off.
Here's the pitch. That one lifted, foul. Paoli, she saw the pitch that she wanted, but I think just a little bit too soon on that.
I think that one was another off speed, and if she would have waited, just a hair later, could have seen that one making its way out to right field.
Here's the pitch. That one through the gap past second again. Logan gonna try for 3. It's gonna be good. He gets in there safe.
And we are back to where we started with Alexis Dahl. At the beginning of the inning, she started things off pounding that 5-6 hole over there on the left side of the field, and here she is back again. This time, the runner on first and third.
Dahl, the first time she came up, singled, got around to third before being thrown out at home on a fielder's choice. That was the first out of the inning. Ball State's still looking for the third.
And although Dahl did everything she could earlier on in the inning, you do not want to get called out twice in one inning. See how she has that mindset right here.
Runners on the corners, 2 outs. That's high, as I think Timmons thought there might be a steal coming from Paoli on the season. With 4 stolen bases, converted every attempt she's had for a stolen base. Here's the pitch, outside. Count goes 2-0.
It's clear that Timmons kind of has her eye over there on Paoli, so she's probably going to try to play it safe, especially with Ohio building this kind of easy lead already here in the second.
Here's the pitch. Just outside, it's 3-0. And Rousseau's a pitch away from loading the bases.
Like, once again, Earlier it was Alexa Stahl who got out on the loaded up bases.
Here's the pitch. There's a strike, just catching the outside of the plate. And I think that's a good one to take there. A lot of balls thrown this inning by Rousseau. That was a close pitch. Make the umpire make the call. And he made the good call with it just catching the outside of the plate, but make him make that call.
Rousseau is really working that lower outside. See it once again, it just misses its mark. Bases are loaded now.
A walk for Dahl. So now Emma Hoffner back up. She walked earlier this inning, eventually came around and scored on the air.
Yes, Hoffner, the first one to score for the Bobcats.
That's the most interesting thing about this entire inning. None of these runs have been earned.
They've had one error.
The one error came, they've had two. All the runs have been either scored with 2 outs or scored on that one error. So definitely a little interesting stat quirk.
And no powerful hits really from the Bobcats, just all kind of on the ground. And
that was powerful. Back off the top of the wall. 1 run scored, 2 runs scored, 3 runs scored. Sliding in Emma Hoffner with a triple.
What a way to make me eat my words, I guess you could say. That one was just mere inches from a grand slam.
It hit about the padding. You've got the wall proper, and then you got the extended about 2 or 3 feet up. And that's what that was on. About 2 feet off. Just needed a little bit more room from the wind, and it would have been gone. And we're going to have a mound visit here. 8 spot, a snowman put up for the Bobcats in this inning.
I think we're going to see a pitching change right here.
And we will, coming in to pitch for the Cardinals, will be Alyssa Stromily. We'll take a timeout. Alyssa Stromaglia coming in for the Cardinals. She last came in on March the 28th, pitched 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, 4 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Redshirt sophomore from Melrose Park, transfer from Triton College. Sydney Grind.
It's kind of a tough spot to be in if you're Stromaglia. I mean, you're coming in, you're probably cold. Everybody's cold, but she opens it up with a strike.
A nice pitch at that, too. On the season, she's had 33 strikeouts to 24 walks. Not exactly the ratio you want. Here's the pitch. Inside. Count goes to 1-1.
So it's kind of a I guess you could say, uncharacteristic inning for Russo. I mean, she went 3 up, 3 down in the first inning and then allowed 8 in the second inning. You don't see that from her too much.
Not at all. There's a swing and a miss, 1-2 the count, but not going to do anything to her ERA though, as every single, I believe, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure every single one of those runs have been unearned. Yeah, here's the pitch, swing, and fouled off. There's a little bit of rain starting to come down. A few sprinkles here and there.
Yeah, I mean, the weather was beautiful. I mean, sunny and windy for the game, and it was like almost as if as soon as that first pitch was thrown, it just got worse and colder, and now rainier.
It's typical for any softball in Ohio, is that's going to be fouled back up and into the stands.
People ducking out of the way from that one.
Count stays at 1-2, but I mean, this is that's the way it always is for any spring sport, honestly, in the state of Ohio. Doesn't matter, track, baseball, softball. It's nice until the game starts, and then it goes downhill after that. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Fouled off again. Really good job by Grind to stay in the count here. He's fouled off the last 3 or 4 pitches.
Yeah, Grind seems to be kind of chasing those outside pitches. The last couple ones have been on that outside corner, and she's just swinging out there and getting kind of the end of her bat on it.
Moglia going to try to get the strikeout here.
See what she throws right here.
Here's the pitch. High. 2-2 the count. 2 outs. As the Bobcats have batted around, they've got a runner on third and Emma Hoffner.
Looks like she was kind of attempting to throw the rise ball right there, but Wessler did not, Grind did not bite on that one.
And another one outside. The count runs full.
What a quality at bat right here for Grind. I mean, staying in there and you got a new pitcher working her already early. A lot of pitches. It's exactly what you want to do when you're facing someone coming in cold.
One back from 1-2 down. The payoff pitch fouled off again.
It's probably been one of the longest innings for Ohio they've had in a long time.
After a real short one, too. Just 3 groundouts to the pitchers in the bottom of the first. And looking to get the 9th run here on the bottom of the second. Here's the payoff pitch. Whoa! That one's lifted. Wow! Went to get hold of that one after the hit, but that's a pop off the bat.
She jumped up on that one. If she would have waited just a second longer, it was kind of high. Could have possibly been an out, or maybe the wind could have lifted it a little more.
We'll once again have a payoff pitch. Just a little bit high.
That one was very, very close. But a beautiful at-bat right there for Grind.
Really earned that walk there. That is that's her 8th walk of the season. As Shelby Wessler will come up to bat now. Wessler 0 for 1 on the day, had a fielder's choice to home, then reached on the air by the first baseman. That one's going to be fouled off. 0-1 the count.
Wind really picking up right now, blowing off towards the right, like we mentioned, kind of all game. But Wessler looking at that second pitch right here.
Here it is. Outside. 1-1 the count.
Timmons yet again for Ball State, trying to keep the Bobcats on their toes. She doesn't want them to get, too lazy out there on the bases.
I almost wonder if that was like an unintentional pitch out. Wynn blowing it out that way. Timmons seeing an advantage. Trying to see if they can get it first. That one's high, and it's a 2-1 count.
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, at this point, Ball State, they need to do anything to get out of this inning and maybe just recoup over in their dugout.
A 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1. On deck, Bobcats is CC Cadell.
And Grine looking at the next pitch.
And it's lifted to center field. Running over and able to make the grab will be Ross, but not before the Bobcats put up a snowman. 8 runs in the bottom of the second. We'll head to the third. Back at Ohio softball field, 8-0 Ohio leads after an 8-run second inning. Lights starting to turn on here as a little bit of rain, a little bit of sprinkles here intermixed with the wind as Haley Wynn comes back up to the batter. Second at bat of the game here at the top of the third. A little bit different weather-wise than what it was when she came up the first time. First time up, walked, and then got 2 stolen bases. She will see a ball there.
Ball State, they have a lot of catching up to do right here, and I mean Wynn, she was able to get on base already once today. Gonna try to do that again as a beautiful pitch is delivered.
I just caught the outside corner of the plate. Just a great pitch there. Not really one that one would want, but I mean it's just right on the edge of that strike zone. Miller delivers again, that one outside. I think she tried to go with the same pitch there and just kind of floated on her a little bit there. Two and one the count. So far in this top of the third inning, Ball State with no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. As the pitch is high, 3-1 the count. Now Ohio with 8 runs, 7 hits, no errors, but none of those 8 runs, I believe, none of those were earned because either they were all either on an error or after that error, it would have been out of the inning if it wasn't for the error. So that'll be a ball low as another walk for Wynn. That's her second.
Yep, Wynn drawing yet another one, and that'll be what, 18 walk on the season?
Yeah.
I think she leads her team in that aspect. Really good at kind of holding that discipline in. 4th
in the MAC in it as well. As we know that Wynn can steal. She got 2 stolen bases in the first inning when she made it on as a Maya Daniel comes up to bat.
Yep, she has a lot of speed behind her.
Daniel, her first time up, right out to grind that one through the hole, as it'll be cut off, or excuse me, gotten over all the way to third base, but a single for Daniel.
That ball thrown in, it couldn't quite tell if it was meant to get to second base or all the way to third, but either way, that was a great backup by Skip Miller getting over there behind the third baseman. If she hadn't been there and that ball got passed, that could have been real ugly for Ohio real quick.
Absolutely, as Michaela Timmons comes up to bat now, second RBIs in the back of 27. She's got a runner in scoring position here. First time up, she struck out. Shoves the one over to third. Ball gets away. As the snap throw by Hoffner. Ryan, who was covering over at third base, got away, and the runners move up.
I think that one was kind of doomed from the start there, Carl. I mean, she looked like she bobbled it in her hand before she even got the throw off. It was kind of a bad throw bouncing in the dirt, and it must have just had kind of a weird spin on it that made it fly all the way over towards the shortstop position.
It's gonna be there, so both runners will move up. As there's a strike, 1-1 the count.
Beautiful changeup right there for Miller, just on that inside corner.
Timmons waiting for Miller's delivery. Here it is. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count.
And Timmons, although she struck out earlier, she's been quite successful for this team with a 3.56 RBI. I mean 3.56 batting average and 27 RBIs on the season.
That's struck out a lot. Had a 17th strikeout earlier in this game. Outside, 2-2. Miller trying to get the 18th strikeout on Timmons this year. If Timmons can make contact with the ball, though, she's got a lot of power. 6 home runs, 5 doubles. That might be exactly what the doctor ordered for the Cardinals. If Timmons can get some contact. She'll get a little bit of contact there, but she'll just foul it back to the screen. We'll do it again at 2-2.
You're right. For players like Timmons, sometimes, you know, it's either you're going to hit it hard and hit it far, or you're going to strike out, and that's just the way some players are. It seems like this may be kind of the case for her, but she already struck out once today, so we'll see if she can bounce back right here on this next pitch.
Here's the pitch. It's lifted, deep right field. That's gone. Timmons with her 7th home run of the season.
And, you know, you mentioned it, that might have been the turning point right there for Ball State. 3 runs now for them, and they cut the Bobcat lead to just 5.
Absolutely a big momentum swing. I mean, you know, coming in, you figured these are 2 of the best offenses in the MAC. You figured it might be a high-scoring game, especially with the wind, and looks like it might just end up being that. As Samantha Jo Mata up to bat, she'll square.
I mean, that one, as soon as it was off the bat, was a without a doubt out of here.
First pitch to Mata will be bunted foul.
That last one, it was kind of tailing that line the whole way, but stayed on that foul side.
Might have actually gone off of Mata's arm while she was in the box, because the umpire blew that dead really quickly. That one's just going to be a little bit high, 1-1 to count.
Now, a lot of the fans kind of cleared out in the stands after that last inning. I don't know if it's the weather or the 8 runs that the Bobcats scored, but a whole horde of people just kind of...
I think it was the weather, because I think everyone went to go grab blankets. That last pitch was inside, 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. There's a strike, just catching the inside part of the plate, goes to 2-2.
I don't think Mata was really happy about that one based on the way her face was when she turned around. She kind of thought, she don't know if that one was a strike. I mean, it was kind of low.
Here's the pitch. Just a little bit low, the count runs full. Still no outs in this inning. Ball State already put 3 runs up on Michaela Timmons, 3-run homer. By the way, that's Timmons' 5th home run in the last week, last 2 series. That one up the middle, Grind able to grab it, throws in time, ground out 6-3. Nifty play there by Grind.
Yeah, a beautifully well played ball. She just got in the exact right position of that one. When it first came off the bat, it kind of looked like it was going to shoot out to the outfield, but it just kind of died when it hit the dirt. And Grind was able to pick that one up in a quick throw. And that's the first out of the inning.
That it is.
A little bit of catcher-pitchers having a talk out there.
As Jasmine Armendariz will check in the batter's box. The designated player today for the Cardinals. She grounded out to the pitcher. First time up. She'll see a ball there. 1-0 the count. A little bit of activity going on in the Bobcat bullpen down there.
Yeah, it looks like Ohio might be warming somebody else up.
That's lifted. O'Brien to her right, able to grab it.
O'Brien kind of showing off those speedy legs right there to get under that one. 2 straight outs for Ohio.
Now it'll be Caitlin Matthews up. Already extended her 7, now 8-game hitting streak dating back to the Kent State series for the Cardinals.
And through those last 7 last week, I mean, she's gotten 3 RBIs and a home run, so she's kind of on a bit of a hot streak.
Oh, nifty grab by Skip Miller, reaching down, grabbing it, and that'll be the inning. But Ball State puts 3 on Michaela Timmons. Home run, 8-3, middle of the third. Back in a windy Ohio softball field, 8-3, Ohio leads Ball State. As up to bat for the Bobcats will be first time up, Goodell reached sacrifice. Ooh, that's inside.
She was one of the only ones that had only 1 at-bat last inning. I mean, almost everybody else got to go up twice.
There's the pitch. There's a straight catching the outside part of the plate.
Sacrifice last inning would have been her 6th RBI on the season.
The outside, 2-1 the count. What are you seeing so far from Stramaliga to the batters?
She was able to, get Ball State out of the inning, but so far I think she still is a little bit sloppy. She needs to kind of relax and find herself right here. A lot of those pitches are either going high or outside, and as we see 3-1 right now, she's thrown a lot of balls so far. And I know we've mentioned it all game, and maybe the wind's messing with her pitches a little bit, but I think she's kind of struggling to find the zone here so far.
That's inside, and it's a ball.
And a lead off on base now for Ohio, and they're back to Tori O'Brien.
O'Brien with a hustle double. I mean, it was a ball that barely got out to the grass, but Ball State a tiny bit slow getting it back into the infield, and O'Brien, the speedster, able to take advantage. Also scored.
And she showed off her speed, catching that little infield pop-up last inning to get him out of the...
That'll be just a little bunt that'll go foul. 0-1 the count.
Now that bunt had a little bit of air under it, which can be dangerous, especially when your third baseman's kind of playing in like they are right now. Next time she will want to get that one, kind of put it straight into the dirt rather than that little pop-up it had under it.
Everybody except the shortstop in on the infield. Here's the pitch. That'll be just outside. 1-1 the count.
She kind of showed slap on that one. I mean, every team kind of handles a slapper a little bit differently, but Ball State, it seems like they like to kind of bring their infield in, and like you said, their shortstop taking a couple steps back this time.
That'll be outside, and nearly getting picked off first base was Cadell.
Cadell had a bit of a large leadoff right there. But maybe they kind of shifted the shortstop to play a little further back, maybe to kind of eliminate that hole right there they've seen so far this game.
They've definitely had problems. I mean, what about 5 of the Bobcats' hits have been hit out in the left field through that gap. That one, whoa! That's in the Bobcat dugout again. 2-2 the count now.
They're just kind of abusing their own dugout at this point. It's the second one that kind of zipped over there.
Jim Cantori's still yet to make his appearance here. It's windy enough for him. Absolutely, as here's the 2-2 pitch to O'Brien. Outside.
O'Brien doing yet another wonderful job working this pitcher. I think that's one of the other struggle points we've seen so far, as Stramaglia is throwing a lot of pitches each batter. She's not really getting out of each batter quickly. She's letting them see a lot of pitches.
Here's the full count pitch. Lifted in the gap in right center. That'll be a hit. O'Brien to first. Over to third will be Cadell.
O'Brien certainly came around first looking like she wanted to take second, but against her judgment, she hung back at first. Runners on the corners now, back up to the top.
Bell Hummel. No outs, runners on the corners.
And Ohio seems like they're kind of starting off hot yet again this inning. They weren't done last inning, it doesn't seem.
Absolutely not. Hummel with a single. 1 for 2 on the day. Had a single in the second inning and then scored. There's a strike. Looks like Hummel might be looking to possibly slap it here.
Yeah, and that was a really nicely placed pitch right there. Yeah, it looks like second baseman's playing in kind of yet again. Taking a couple steps back here, maybe about in the baseline.
Swing and a miss as that one had some pretty good break on that pitch and fooled Hummel.
Yeah, I think the bottom kind of fell out of that ball. She was way over top of that one and kind of ahead of it too.
So the count goes to 0-2. No outs, runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. Lifted, foul.
That looked almost more like she was kind of trying to protect herself with that swing. The way the ball kind of curved in on her. I mean, she fouled it off. She's making good contact. All the Bobcats are making really great contact, whether they're fouling it or what. But they're all seeing the ball really well today. I think that's what's been kind of the main factor for their success so far in this game.
The 0-2 pitch again. Outside, 1-2, and a great job there by Timmons to be able to slide over and back in that ball.
Yeah, she kind of protected second base right there. O'Brien maybe a quarter of the way to the base. I think she could have taken it with her type of speed, but she held back yet again.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Rolls. O'Brien able to steal that time easily. That pitch just in the dirt.
Yep, O'Brien saw that slow-moving ball and got a really good jump on it. Now both runners are in scoring position here for Belle Hummel.
And once again, a lot of pitches thrown with a 2-2 count here. High, and the count goes full.
Full count is not what you want to see, especially considering that she started this at bat with 2 strikes. Stramaglia trying to kind of struggling here to keep her footing.
The payoff pitch. Held, it's a ball, and the bases are loaded.
That was yet another very, very close one. Some of the Bobcats didn't exactly seem happy about that call, but it was just right out there on that outside corner. Yaz Logan up to bat. She got a hold of a beautiful pitch last time, the one that banked off the very top of the wall for the Bobcats. She cleared the bases with that. See if she can do it again here.
Call time on that one because she got blown off the rubber.
It looked like she kind of lost her balance out there, was standing a little bit sideways for that pitch. That one way on the outside.
I mean, this wind's definitely affecting really all the players, but especially the pitchers. Ball State struggled with it a lot today. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Shack swing, didn't go.
High and outside yet again.
2-0 the count.
Middle infield pulled in yet again here for Logan.
Here's the pitch. There's a strike right at the top of the strike zone. 2-1 the count. You got the outfield, there's a big gap out left in the alley. To see if Logan can find that gap. The 2-1 count, bases loaded, no outs for the Bobcats. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off nearly into the Bobcat dugout again. There's been about 3 or 4 times where they've had to look out in there.
Abusing them yet again, and General Hall kind of ducking out of the way of that one. Taking a bit of a hop off the dugout towards her that time.
It'll square the count up at 2-2 for Logan. Lifted, right field, at the wall, it is gone! I don't even think that one needed a win. Logan with a 3-run homer. And it's back up to an 8-run lead for the Bobcats.
Grand slam for Yaz Logan. Beautiful ball right there.
She hit the bus. It looks like out there.
It looked like it might have bounced off one of the trees and onto the bus.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna park your bus right there, you got to know the risk you're taking.
Luckily, I think that's saving our cars out there out past the right field wall. But once again, a mound visit, and I think we're going to get another pitching change. We will. We'll meet the new pitcher after the break. Ohio leads 12-3 on Bobcat TV. Francis King in the pitch now for the Cardinals, the junior transfer from Tennessee State, originally Mechanicsburg, Ohio native. She's made 2 appearances in the last week. Picked up the win, a complete game, 1 run, no earned, in a victory over Central Michigan, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, but struggled a little bit more on March the 28th against Northern Illinois. 3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 strikeout as Paoli will come up to bat.
Once again, Ball State's kind of finding themselves in a bit of a jam right here. No outs. You just gave up a grand slam. How do you respond to this, especially with a hitter like Paoli up?
And Paoli deep to center field. That's a home run! Dead center on a line.
Does not get much better than that, Carl. First pitch, Paoli, beautiful hit, straight center. Doesn't get much better than that.
My goodness. I mean, it was a rope. And it's 13-3.
Didn't even get a chance to really even see the pitch. She just jumped on it. Alexis Dahl up now.
Dahl last time up walked and then scored on a triple by Emma Hoffner. He's reached twice today.
Yep, she kind of started things off for the Bobcats at the first hit of the game. Although she was later thrown out at home, she still was kind of the starting factor, especially in her first game back after being injured for 6 or 7 games.
Just on the outside, 1-1 the count. Definitely for King, I mean, what goes through your head when you come in? You see a grand slam, as that'll be outside, 2-2 the count now, but you see a grand slam, you get brought in, and your first pitch, you give up a home run. What goes through your head in that situation?
You know, they say it can be very lonely out there on that pitcher's mound, and I think that might be some of what she's thinking. Because at that point, you can't even really rely on your defense to do anything because there's nothing you can do. Ohio just came to hit today, and it's really more of a mental battle out there if you're the pitcher.
Full count now, as we'll have some time.
A little bit of a glove mishap back there for Timmons. Timmons had a home run of her own earlier in the game.
Top half of this inning, and it looked like Ball State, that might have been the springboard for Ball State to climb back into this game, but apparently not, as that one's chopped right to the mound. King will get dogs out. Ground out 1-3. Bringing up now Hoffner. Hoffner reached on a walk in at first, and then a 3 RBI triple.
She scored twice already today for the Bobcats.
Gonna be low. 1-0 the count on the New Stanton, Pennsylvania native. Outside. 2-0 the count as the sun starts peeking its way back outside.
Well, let's hope, because it has been cold, and the forecast may say it feels like 52, but I think that's false.
Here's the pitch. Up the middle. Gonna have to be stabbed. Mullahan over to first in time.
That was a beautiful ground out right there for Mata, the scoop over there at first base. Kind of able to save her own team with that one.
2 outs now. Sydney Grimes.
Sid Grind comes up to bat.
Outside, 1-0 the count. Picking back up again.
Whew, big gust right there.
Strike through that one, which is real impressive.
It might have helped it out with, a bit of the movement.
Definitely possible for King. On the count. Here's the pitch. Strike, just catching the back part of the plate. After giving up those back-to-back home runs, looks like they're going to try to they might be able to just get out of this inning. Here's the pitch. Fouled off.
A lot of air under that one for Ryan.
That'll stay at 1-2.
2 outs now for Ohio. This is probably, Ball State probably feels like they can kind of breathe a little bit here. There's nobody on. They got 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Here's the pitch. Strike 3, just catching the inside top corner. It'll be a strikeout nonetheless. That's the first one of the day, actually, for any Ball State pitcher, and it'll end the inning, but not before 2 home runs by Yaz Logan and Paoli. The Bobcats on a 13-3 cushion. Back at Ohio softball field, 13-3, the Bobcats lead as we head into the fourth inning, as Mulholland will be up to bat. McKenna Mulholland, the redshirt freshman from Oviedo, Florida, had a single earlier in this game.
Yep, she's 1 for 1 on the day. Not getting too many opportunities. Ball State's kind of struggled at the plate. I mean, we had the home run from Timmons, but other than that, it's kind of been a struggle for them.
There's a strike from Miller. 0-1 the count. Yeah, only 4 hits up on there on the board.
Beautiful starting pitch from Miller. Miller's had 2 walks on the day and 1 strikeout. Gave up a home run.
1-1 the count now after the pitch was high.
I'll tell you, although there's been a lot of hits, there hasn't been many strikeouts on either side.
That one popped up. Many people converging, pulling off and making the catch. It's Yap Logan.
One of those situations where communication is important out there on that field. And although O'Brien and Grine were both out there, Logan said, I got this one. And she did have the best kind of angle at it. So kudos to her for calling her companions off of that one.
Now Hannah Dukeman up to bat. The junior from St. Joseph, Illinois. So far on the day had a sacrifice bunt. That one fouled. And that was an interesting spin off that ball on that foul. It fouled and it just kind of spun over the catcher and the umpire and then didn't even make it back to the screen.
It made kind of an interesting noise there too. I don't know if she caught it on the very end of her bat or if it might have hit the glove of Hoffer, but weird spin and even weirder noise, I would say.
Still a strike, and it's an 0-1 count. There's a strike catching the outside part of the plate. Miller's really commanding well this inning.
Yeah, beautifully placed pitch right there. She's really been working that outside corner this game.
Here's the pitch. That one worked a little bit too far outside. 1-2 the count.
She tried the off speed, but yeah, just a little bit too much spin on it.
Still a 1-2 count on Dukeman. Here's the pitch. Just a little bit high. Goes to 2-2.
Miller did a great job those first 2 pitches, placing it along that outside corner, but those last 2, it got away from her a little bit too far. See if she's able to bring it back on this next pitch.
Here's the 2-2 pitch inside, and the count runs full.
Miller's kind of finding herself in a situation we saw Stramaglia in, where you started off with 2 quick strikes, but 3 straight balls makes it kind of a struggle. You don't want to let go of this one.
Here's the full count pitch. Fouled off, we'll do it again.
Dukeman on top of it. On top of the ball, a nice pitch. It looks like that one probably stung her hands a little bit, just with combination of the cold and maybe placement of the ball.
The 3-2 delivery again. Swing and a miss.
That time, that outside pitch did it for her. Another strikeout. Second one on the day for Skip Miller.
And now Remington Ross will come up to bat. 2:24 coming into the game. She grounded out too short her last time up.
Shortstop playing in again, and she shows bunt.
Take a strike, wasn't able to make contact with it, kind of pulled it back, but a little bit, it was in the strike zone, but a little bit too low to bunt there.
But yeah, the infield is crashing in on her this time.
strike. That's a bit of a slap hit. Over to O'Brien, over to Dog. Round out 4-3, and that'll be it for the top of the fourth. Bobcats lead 13-3 here from the Ohio softball field.
When is it a mercy rule?
After the next inning, if it's still an 8-run lead. Hope they don't bat around again.
Yeah.
I'm running out of space in the. That's the one thing. I like this. I like having the diamond so I can put the.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of these ones without the diamond.
Yeah.
Not a fan of it.
Back at the Ohio softball field as Shelby Wessler, Reagan Farmer.
7 in. Yep, 7 in for an at-bat. We saw a lot of Farmer here recently, 7 in for Alexis Dahl. And Jenna Hall says that Farmer is just one of those players that you can always count on her to do her job. And although she may not start every game, she is always ready.
Here's the pitch. That'll be outside. On the season, Farmer's batting .231, but she had a few decent games while filling in.
She had her first career home run here recently when she was stepping in for Dahl.
Pitch will be outside. 2-0 the count.
And kind of echoing what Hall said, she said it's not just Farmer, it's the whole team. They always know they all have a role to play. Whether they are on the bench or if they sub in like Farmer is right now getting her chance, they all know that their role is important no matter how big or small it may be.
3-0 count on Farmer.
You don't have very many chances at Farmer. You always want to go in there and get some big hits, but I suppose she'll probably take a walk, but she probably went in there really wanting to get a big hit.
Wessler will re-enter run for Farmer. And come up with the play. Scored on the Logan Grand Slam. Doesn't have an at-bat today. Over to first. Just barely. Get out with the speed, but
might have been a missed opportunity right there. All State, they could have tried to turn it into play or at least gotten the lead runner before Tori O'Brien got up to bat. O'Brien's been very successful in play so far today with a single double earlier.
Scored both times she's been up as now beating.
Sure, going out there to talk to her girls. She used to be the assistant coach at Harvard before taking this job. This is her 3rd year here with the Cardinals.
Derek Brown, their assistant coach over there.
When we got here, we were talking about how warm and nice it was, and it was just like it just dropped.
Oh, the wind was warm for a while. The sun was out, and the sun went away, and it quickly got chillier.
I think we might have jinxed ourselves a little bit by even talking about it earlier.
Perhaps. O'Brien, though, she's really turned around, hitting really well. She's jumped up the leaderboard to like 340. I mean, she was at 214 entering the Miami series, and I mean that's just skyrocketed in these entering in conference play. She's really batted incredible. Really awoken that bat. She'll have her run second. Ball, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th, the Bobcats lead 13-3. King delivers. It's a ball. Looked to kind of try to slap hit, but that was not the pitch to do it on at all there. It nose dove.
Yeah, I mean, O'Brien is a very successful slap hitter, so.
Here's the pitch. For a strike, 2-1 the count.
It was a nice looking pitch right there, but for Tori, that may not have just been what she was looking for, but it's only the first strike on her, so she has a couple more to play with here. Shows bunt yet again that time. Pulls back.
This has been hot as well on that pitch, so it's a 3-1 count. Infield backed up a little bit now. They'll creep in a bit now. Has a little bit of slap hit up the middle. Contact. We're going to have interference. They're going to go to try to score. They should have tried to score. And Jenna,
I think she might try to challenge that one.
Have a little bit of a conversation about it as Austin Miller's going to come up to bat. No, Hummel. There was obstruction there. I think I'm a little bit intrigued. I think if Wessler would have been sent, if Wessler would have been thrown out, I think they probably would have counted the run but not really that big of a deal otherwise. I mean, it's either side is.
I think Wessler was just a little bit kind of confused about what was going on. That might have been why she didn't try to take home, but there's only 1 out, so the attempt may be able to come again right here at the hands of Austin Miller.
191 average for Miller.
Falling a bit too high there.
Now, if you notice the Miller name, Skip is actually her sister, the pitcher for the Bobcats today. So
it's always fun when you get to play with your siblings.
There's a strike, 1-1. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Bobcats lead 13-3. Oklahoma State. Francis King delivers the pitch. Outside, 2-1 the count.
Ohio seems to like to have siblings playing. They used to have a pair of siblings, Savannah Jo Dorsey and Samantha Dorsey, play for them on their team, and Savannah was also a pitcher way back when.
That one fouled off into the net. We'll do it again at 2-2.
2-2 count. She's making contact with the ball.
Lifted straight into the bat, and it out, double play. My goodness, what a catch by Wynn, and the wherewithal to throw it over to Mata. It's a double play, and that'll end the 4th. Ball State's got to score 2 to keep this game alive as we head to the top of the 5th. Top of the order for Ball State as they try to stave off the run roll here in the 5th inning. Trailing 13-3, get it down to under 8, so they got to score 3 runs, not 2, as I thought prior. But you know, you got to get it to 6 runs here. 3 runs is the goal. It's going to be tough against Skip Miller. She's been dealing today, as up against Haley Wynn here.
Yeah, but at the top of the lineup, I mean, it's been pretty gutsy for Ball State, especially with Timmons earlier, where she's going to be up 3rd here, and she had the home run earlier that had the 3 runs, so it's not exactly done yet.
Here's the pitch. Just a little bit high, 1-1.
A nice off speed there, but you're right. I think she just might have released that one a little bit too high.
That one right at the knees, a great pitch, and it's just one of those off speeds that you just like, no, the bottom's going to fall out. The bottom's going to fall out, and it's just to the plate, and then it falls out just after on the back half of the plate. It's a beautiful pitch.
And there might have been a little bit of help off there as well. Kind of frame that one up just a hair. I mean, close.
That one lifted right field. Out there in the wind, able to grab it is Cadell. So 1 out.
Once again, we saw that communication coming into play. I think the wind pushed that one a little bit further back than suspected at first. O'Brien was almost all the way out there in right field, but good choice right there for Cadell to take that one.
So we have Maya Daniel up to bat. Daniel 1 for 2 on the day, reached on a single, and she'll take a strike on the inside. I don't think she liked that call.
Interesting stats so far of the game. Ohio is hitting .500, which is absolutely insane for a team. Everybody's hitting well, and that's exactly what Jenna Hall said. She said, when we hit, everybody hits.
Here's the pitch. That one popped up. O'Brien under it. She'll grab it. And the Cardinals are down to their last out for this Saturday afternoon. And it'll be Michaela Timmons, who hit that 3-run homer back in the 3rd inning.
She struck out her first at-bat and hit the 3-run home run her second at-bat.
Here's the pitch. Ooh, it hit her right on the knee. Takes it like a champ.
I'm not sure if that one was on purpose, but you know, in a situation like this, it might just be better to.
Nah, I don't think that was. I mean, it just ran inside there for certain, but sure that don't feel too good with the cold.
No, especially right there on that kneecap.
Well, Samantha Jo Mata up to bat now. 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to second base and a ground out, 6-3. Square around a bunt. And that pitch skipped about halfway to the home plate.
Yeah, I don't know. She must not have gotten the right release on it or something. It definitely an uncharacteristic pitch right there for Miller, especially with how elite she's pitched so far today.
There's a better pitch right at the knees. There's a strike, 1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ball just a little bit low. 2-1 the count on Mata.
Low and outside yet again. The Cardinals only with 4 hits so far out of 17 attempts. But who knows, it could have a 2-out rally right here, rally back, keep themselves in the game.
There's a strike right on the inside part of the plate. And the Cardinals are down to their final strike. Here's the pitch. Just outside. Hoffner tried to get it to Frey, but just couldn't quite get it onto the outside of the plate enough. The count runs full.
Could see the spin on that ball, and it was spinning so far inside, and A lot of the fans here at OSF were not quite happy with that call.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. That's fouled off. We'll do it again.
But Miller's had a great day. I mean, she's had 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Although she did allow the 1 home run.
Really, that's been the only blemish she's had all day.
She's going to have to bring her A game again tomorrow when they play the doubleheader.
Here's the pitch. Fouled off. Mata staying alive.
Yep, Mata is not letting this one go down easy. She's not going to give it to her at all.
Samantha Joe will step back into the box. Full count, 2 outs, top of the 5th. Bobcats leading 13-3, trying to trigger the run rule. And over to third, over to first, that'll be it. Bobcats, bats are hot, and they win 13-3 over Ball State. In that second inning, it was all about just batting around, getting that hit, getting on base, and they were able to put the snowman up there, and then Logan's grand slam in the 3rd inning, followed up by Paoli's solo shot, and that was all the scoring for the Bobcats. And definitely, it was just good hitting day for the Bobcats with their 13-3 victory, Chloe.
Exactly, and these 2 teams have to face off twice again tomorrow. So Ohio is going to have to see if they can kind of keep it rolling. I mean, they've had that's 7 in a row now for the Bobcats. See if they can keep things going when they face off yet again tomorrow.
It'll be you and Ethan Sargent on the call tomorrow. Game 1 starts at noon here on Bobcat TV. For everyone involved in the production, say thank you to them as, again, the final score tonight, Ohio 13, Ball State 3. Good night from Athens.